being here.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Ambassadorial Wing. And tonight, we're going to be kicking off and continuing a new series, Ambassadors Retro Reviews. And this evening, I have got with me two great friends of mine, Mir, the gravitationally adept, and Sir Nerdlot. And this evening, we are going to be doing a little review and discussion of a great 90s classic, Mystery Men. And gentlemen, welcome. Missed you all. It has been a while since I've done some of these. I've been doing a lot of watch parties, and just it's nice to kind of go back to your roots. Go back and do something a little different.
It's nice just to chill, you know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's nice to kick back with your buds and your gal friends and everything and just talk about movies that we love. And I know some people, well, this fellow over here, there's one actor in this movie he does not particularly care for.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
But it doesn't matter because this movie, Mystery Men, has a great, great cast. And tonight we're just going to show some love, talk about what we love, talk about how this kind of fits in the broader pop culture spectrum in terms of superhero movies and comedy movies, and just have a good time. So, and just let me pop up the chat here real quick. And LDG Pixels and Robert Rose Jr. Gentlemen, good evening. LDG, if you want to pop in, I did put the link for this over in your Discord. And Robert Rose, I know you're there. Or if you just fellas are loitering in the chat, glad to have you here either way.
So we also have a fourth special guest star tonight. I just want to show her off real quick.
Oh, yes, because
my little puppy.
Oh,
this is my mother-in-law's dog, Pearl.
Little puppers.
She's saying hello. It's almost her bedtime, so she's going to go upstairs and she puts herself to bed. Huh? Yeah. Oh, sweetie. Okay.
And
go see your mama. And
go see your mom. And to everybody out there in internet land, to everybody that might be watching this on Facebook or Twitch, welcome. Glad you're here. And to those of you that are on YouTube, welcome to you all as well. Thank you for tuning in tonight. But yeah, this honestly, I remember seeing this in 99 when it came out, and I'm like, this was very unorthodox. This was a very different film. This was not your atypical superhero movie, which we had gotten quite a few over the last couple of years before this film did come out. And I was like, I love this cast. I love the dialogue. I love the action. And it's unconventional. I think that's one of the great things about it, because you rarely see a truly comedic superhero movie. And Mystery Men is one of those films. So, but I've kind of ran off the mouth, fellas. I'm going to open up the floor. Where do you want to begin with this puppy?
I think one thing you can start off with is like the absolutely gigantic cast it has.
Oh, yes. Yes. This has a honestly, I think a great cast. Even though Mr. Mir, there's one actor he doesn't particularly care for, one Mr. Ben Stiller. And I understand where some people may not care for Ben Stiller's brand of humor, and that's perfectly fine. But the great thing is, even though if you do not like Ben Stiller, this movie has a great cast. You've got William. Why am I off camera? I don't know. Anyway,
I'm off camera.
That's okay, Mir.
And I can understand the Ben Stiller thing. It very similar acting in different roles.
Yeah,
they're different roles, but you still get these similar facial expressions. type of delivery is very similar, even though they're very different characters. You know, you still get the same delivery.
My main problem with him is that he plays himself playing a character.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know, just never really cared for it.
Yeah, and hey, that's perfectly fair.
Care. I'm here to have a good time with my brothers.
Indeed. Well, and getting into the cast, you had Ben Stiller, you had William H. Macy, who had just gotten off of the success of Fargo. You had Janeane Garofalo, which I will be first to admit, 90s Janeane Garofalo, I had a little bit of a crush on. She was a cutie.
Yeah, she was like the first, like, the nerd girl that girl that the nerds flocked.
She was the nerd girl before there were nerd girls.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, not only that, she was like the next stage in geek girl evolution because, well, let's be candid, everybody's first girl crush was Carrie Fisher. Oh my gosh, could you imagine Carrie Fisher in this movie? Oh, she would have been killer in this movie. Why didn't they get Carrie Fisher? Hey, Carrie, you want to come to a comedic superhero movie? Are you serious? I'm Carrie freaking Fisher. Of course I want to do this movie.
Oh, yeah.
Good. And it didn't even have to be like a full row. When they had the montage with all the different superheroes that were coming through, this is my power, and this is my power, and then I'm Carrie Fisher. I don't need a power. My power is being awesome and riffing on things. Man, that would have been
like, it would have just fit perfect for that little scene.
I was just thinking of the next comedic superhero movie I could think after this is Deadpool.
Yeah. Now, all superhero movies have the level of humor to them, but this is one where they assembled a cast that was really had a good sense of comedic timing. Oh, and one other guy I forgot to mention, Thomas Watts, who played the inventor Heller. Yeah,
that's so crazy that he's in this movie. I was like, what?
And he was Go ahead, Nerdlot.
Sorry. Yeah, I hadn't watched this movie in such a long time, and I did rewatch it today, and I was like, holy crap, that's Tom Waits or whatever.
Waits, yeah. And he was in something I just watched recently. I can't remember for the life of me what it is. It's going to drive me nuts the whole stinking stream until I remember. But you had, like I said, William H. Macy, Janeane Garofalo, Wes Studi as the Sphinx. You had Paul Rubens. You had Kel Williams. You had, and I'm just going to say, I have loved this actor consistently, Jeffrey Rush.
Yeah.
Casanova, and which is a cool freaking name, Casanova Frankenstein. You had Eddie Izzard as Tony C, I think it was, and he was just this throwback disco guy, and it was just
Disco Die Hard.
Disco Die Hard. Disco is not dead. Disco is life. Yes, Tony, that was the passion. I remember. Stick with me, Tony, and you will dance again when I rule the city. Yes, I've seen this movie way too many times. It's kind of like Fifth Element all over again. Who else was in? Who else was in this?
So are you Kevin Smith fans?
Yes.
I'm actually. It's my. Go ahead, Nerdwant. Go ahead.
The girl from Mallrats,
Claire Filoni. Yeah. Mm-hmm. She was in this too.
Yep.
It's funny you should bring up Kevin Smith. I'm actually next year. I haven't figured when yet. I'm actually going to do a director spotlight on Kevin Smith.
I went in on that. I saw him live in Memphis, Tennessee. I'll save that for whenever we do that.
Fine. Yeah. I'm starting to put together my content for next year because, well, I like to plan ahead. I'm wacky that way. But
yeah, that is weird, man.
Ha ha ha. You're funny. You are so funny.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah. I'm trying to think. Did we miss anybody in the cast? Let's see.
Well, like there's like also like a lot of like
cameos.
Like, like cameos,
Oh.
like
Yeah,
Dane Cook,
yeah,
Doug
Waffle
Jones.
Man.
Yeah, Waffle Man.
Who?
Doug Jones,
Oh,
that creepy looking guy, the pencil head.
oh yeah, yeah. And there was one other we almost missed. Greg Kinnear.
Oh yeah,
Captain Amazing.
yeah.
Oh, this
Captain
is
Amazing.
Tom Waits. That's his name, right?
Yeah.
I know he was
Dr.
in The
Heller.
Dead Don't Die.
Yeah.
That was it. Yes.
He was just on recent. I mean, this just showed up on. I think was it either Amazon or HBO.
HBO
Max.
Max.
HBO Max. It's
Yeah.
on Max. Yes.
Yeah. Now I know who
I
that
didn't
is.
watch-
Okay. I didn't know what his
Yeah.
name was, but I know the face.
Yeah, same here because he has a very distinct face. But
And voice. Did you know that there's like this video out there of Tom Waits doing a old 70s interview, and it sound you can dead up tell that that's where Heath Ledger got his Joker voice from.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Really? Huh.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch that. I'll have to go look that up.
Yeah, I'll try to find it and send you a link to it or something.
Okay. Awesome, there a lot. Thank you. But the interesting thing about this movie is it doesn't have a lot of like action set pieces in it. It's got a lot more comedic bits in it, and honestly, that's the one thing I love. And here's the other thing: the heroes in this movie are not your atypical heroes, and William H. Macy says it himself. We're not your normal superheroes. We're the other guys. We're the ones nobody bets on. And think about it. You've got Ben Stiller as Mr. Furious, who is almost like the Hulk, only not. You've got William H. Macy as the Shoveler, who fights with a shovel. You've got, I forgot Hank Azaria. How the hell could I forget Hank Azaria as the Blue Raja?
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. I've almost forgot Hank Azaria. I am such a doofus.
Well, that's what I was saying. There's so many people that like.
Oh. And he throws forks. I'm not Stabby Man. I'm not Knifey Boy. I'm the Blue Raja. You've got Janine Garofalo as the bowler. You've got Kel Williams as the invisible boy. You've got Wes Studi as the Sphinx, who actually is the only one. And real quick to the chat, that Nigel movie guy. Good evening, my friend. Good to see you. What your one guest said about Ben Stiller is what I think about The Rock. Robert Rose. Hey, and that's perfectly fair, man. Like I said, there are going to be actors some people like, some people don't, and that's all perfectly fair. But let's see. You've got Kel Williams as the invisible boy who can only turn invisible if nobody looks at him. As I said, you've got Wes Studi as the Sphinx who has the only legitimate superpower, in a manner of speaking, because he can split guns with his mind. And then you've got the Sphinx who has horrendous, deadly, and accurate flatulence.
The spleen.
The spleen.
Fantastic.
And of course, Casanova Frankenstein is just like an evil genius, which it works. You've got Greg Kinnear as Captain Amazing, who's like Tony Stark, only, well, lame and with sponsors.
Robert Rose is saying what your one guest said about Ben Stiller is what I think about The Rock. I'm totally with you on The Rock, as well as Jesse Eisenberg. He plays himself playing a character.
Yep.
Well, the really cool thing about this movie is it, and I can't believe I'm going to use this phrase, but in this context, it works. It subverts your expectations, but in a good way. Why? Because it's a standalone film, and you're allowed in a standalone film, and I'm not going to get on some rant, I'm just going to make this point, we'll move on. In a standalone film, you can subvert expectations, and it'll work. You expect Captain Amazing to come in and save the day, but oops, he gets psychofraculated. And we should totally make that a hashtag. Go psychofracculate yourself. Go get psychofraculated. And the crazy thing,
So yeah, I'm gonna like admit straight up, I've never seen this
Mhm.
movie before. This is gonna be.
Then why are you?
I'm
Why
here for
didn't
you,
you
brother.
tell
This is
me?
how it comes down
There you
to.
go. I know, and I appreciate, but why didn't you tell me?
The thing is, because of your love for this movie, I'm willing to walk in with an open mind.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you this, Mir. By the time you're done with this movie, you're going to want to go watch it, even though there's going to be spoilers. You need to watch this movie at least once, and it will probably hook you in and go, "Come on, Mir, you're going to like this movie. Come on, come on, you'll like this. It's funny." It's just,
Maybe. Don't know.
dude, have an open mind.
I do. I'm being serious.
It's definitely an enjoyable movie.
It is. It's like one that you can pop in once or twice a year and watch, and you'll be completely entertained. Totally entertained.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I will say, you know, it is definitely a 90s movie.
Oh, so 90s. So freaking 90s. Yeah. This movie is just slathered in 90s ridiculousness, and it's cool and it's good. That's one of the great things.
It is good. You know, it's that 90s, like, you know, very overused term, but campy.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. But here's the thing. Go ahead, Nerdbot. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, the very beginning of it, you know, with I think they called them Red Eyes.
Yes.
Which Artie Lang is the leader of the Red Eyes.
Really?
Which is another little cameo.
Right.
But felt very like 89 Schumacher Batman. You know, Burton Batman, sorry. You know?
Also, yeah. Well, and you know, the really interesting thing about this is you start off with the movie in an old folks' home.
Yeah.
Right. What superhero action movie starts off its first big, one of only like 2 or 3 action sequences in an old folks' home?
And that's what you're saying about, you know, subverting the expectations of a comic book movie.
Yeah, totally. You're like, okay, it's Mystery Man. You've got the big flashy thing, and then you've got them zooming in on the city, and the city almost looks a little bit like Coruscant, but not exactly. And then you zoom in through a skylight into an old folks' home, and they're having some sort of old folks' home ball or whatever. You've got an old. You've got a bunch of old doo-wop girls singing, and you've got a big band playing, and everybody's going. And the choreography for that scene with the dancing was so stinking ridiculous, yet so funny. I love it. And you know, the thing about this movie, it was made in the 90s, but it feels like something that belongs in like the 50s or the 60s or something. It's slightly, its aesthetic is not 90s, but it has that 90s campiness, kind of like what you said, Nerd, with Batman and Robin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Except in this case, Batman and Robin are inept, sort of, until they get the proper superhero training from a guy who can split guns with his mind. You're the Sphinx, and you are fools. I'm sorry. I mean, this movie just it breaks every single conventional rule of superhero movies, but it does it so brilliantly. I almost wish they had done a sequel to this, because I would have loved to have seen what they'd done with the next one, but I'm almost kind of glad that they didn't, because I think they would have tried too hard to up their game with the humor. Because the humor in this movie is really, honestly, for me, I think it's spot on. Even if some of the actors, and I think some of the comedians are not people that actors are ones that you don't particularly care for.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, I'm approaching this whole thing with an open mind.
Well, it would have helped if you had watched it first.
Wow, we'll watch it now. It's no big deal.
This is a review.
This is a review? Oh, shit.
Why didn't you tell me in the DM? Hey, dude, I haven't watched this. I would have said, then maybe you should before we review it.
I'm going to put up a little funny. Anyway, it's playing in the background right now.
Oh, good grief. And
I know. Just, you know, you have to love me sometimes. Hopefully. Perhaps. I don't know.
Wow, they did.
Huh? I'm not aware of that. I was not aware of that, Robert Rose. Thank you for bringing that up.
Oh, no shit.
I mean, that fits.
It kind of does, honestly. Well, and like I said, when they were doing when they were having the sky view shot of Champion City, and to the chat real quick, the True 31. Good evening, bud. Good to see you. Hey, Truth, if you are free and you want to join in, let me know and I'll DM you the link for this puppy. So, but yeah, this movie was truly ahead of its time because we didn't get superhero movies that were based solely on comedy. They're oftentimes, we have to stop the bad guy from destroying the world or taking over the world or doing something to the world or getting the thing. This one does have that, but it kind of takes a back seat to the chemistry with the team as it forms. And the crazy thing is, this is actually based on a kind of an underground comic book.
Yeah, what's it called? Like,
I think it's called Mystery Men, actually.
I'm pretty sure, yeah, that's what it's called.
No, it was Dark Horse Comics.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a Dark Horse. Yeah, it was a Dark Horse comic. I'm pretty sure. Like I said, I think it was called Mystery Men. But you know, the really interesting thing with this film is the fact that everybody was sold. Everybody was bought into this. They assembled this cast, and everybody was like, "Yeah, I want to work with this person. Yeah, I want to work with this person. Yeah, they worked so well together." And that was the thing that really impressed me, because when you have so many comedians that have such different timing and such different styles of how they do their comedy, it can sometimes be a mess. But with this film and this cast, it works. And I'll be honest, when you think Jeffrey Rush, you don't often think a comedic actor. But Jeffrey Rush as Casanova Frankenstein, he did a really good job and everything, kind of playing off the rest of the cast and everything, particularly the heroes and his the other villains. And again, and even the villains are not conventional. You've got the not so goody mob mixing the rhyme with the crime. You've got the Suits liquidating and they're like 1930s or 40s gangsters and how they dress. You got the Susies, who are Asian, like Yakuza, like but way overplayed Yakuza criminals. You've got the Disco Boys, who were with Tony C and Tony P, who's played by Eddie Izzard. You've got the Farriers, who are a bunch of is a group of female criminals. And it keeps getting more ridiculous. You've got a frat of freaking villains still on suspension for lethal hazing. Pi Zeta.
Little side note: the main frat boy who had the speaking role was actually Michael Bay. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
I had no idea. I didn't even catch that. Dang, Nerdlight, you caught that one. Good job, man.
Now I did a little research into the film too.
Looking at you, Mir. Why couldn't you do research?
I could answer that question, but you're not going to like it.
And now you sound like Marvin from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That's right. I mean, all I can tell you is that the soundtrack for the movie was released on July 6th, which happens to be my birthday.
Yeah, and you know what? Even the movie, I'll say it, the movie had a really interesting soundtrack because you had disco, you had 90s pop, you had all sorts of weird stuff, all sorts of weird songs in this movie. And Robert Rosenberg. They also used Blade Runner shots in this movie. That doesn't surprise me. And real quick to the chat, Jeffrey Turner, good evening, bud. Good to see you. Jeff, I don't know if you're busy or if you've ever seen this movie, but if you'd like to join in the discussion, let me know. I'll shoot you a link. So, but yeah, honestly, there is nothing conventional about this movie whatsoever, and that is what's great about it. That is truly what's great about it. Is unconventional, and it really bends or breaks every single convention of a superhero movie that has been established. It really has. So
yeah, I will agree with you on like the like when it comes to like superhero movies, that when it comes to like the movie structure itself, it really reminded me a lot of some I can't remember like when Dodgeball and Old School come out. Like it like structure wise, it really felt a lot like that because you have the team, and all the team is kind of quirky and they're the oddballs.
Yeah.
And
I think Dodgeball was what, 2004-ish?
Yeah.
Something
that
like
sounds
that.
right. That sounds right. Old School probably about the same time. And
I remember seeing Old School. It was a long time ago. I'll go look it up real quick.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's around the same time. But you have the team of oddballs.
2003.
Yep. And the leader, gets disenfranchised, drops out. They have that older mentor guy. The leader comes back, joins the team, and then they all win. Basic, simple structure wise, it reminded me a lot of those two movies. And I'm sure there's other movies that have the same type of structure, but it's still a solid structure for a comedy movie.
Yeah, it really is. And Jeffrey Turner, that's fine. Appreciate the honesty. Looking at you, Mir.
I'm not looking at you, Ambassador.
You're going to be my whippable tonight, so to speak. Not really.
Now you know why I'm here.
I tease, I kib it, I tease, dude. I'm just teasing with you.
Okay.
You're not anybody's.
Sticks and stones may break my bones, but whips and chains excite me. Do that at your own peril.
Well,
I know. I just had to make it weird.
Yes, which is what you often do on my streams, Mary. You make it weird, but that's part of your charm.
Why do you keep inviting me then?
Because you oftentimes, when you've seen a movie, you give good insight.
So I'm going to put out my bit of advice here. This is kind of like a trilogy for me. This is one of the ones I really didn't have much of an interest in seeing, and as Sir Nerd a lot said that this is also very similar to like to Dodgeball. Oh, he left.
Nope, I'm still here.
Oh.
Nope, I'm still here.
What the heck?
I'm putting you front and center.
All right, so I mean, with this one, it's going to be Dodgeball and also Tropic Thunder. Like to me, that's like the kind of like the trilogy, even though they're somewhat apart. There's there's things that are in between those, but this one's like to me kind of had the same like plot basically, but with different settings. I don't want to be on the spotlight anymore. I don't like it. I'm going to start singing the Star Spangled Banner.
There, you're back in with the rest of the group. You're safe and secure. You have they give you all sorts of nifty little tools on StreamYard, so I'm going to start using them. But
Look, I was just a step away from going full retard.
Great.
I know, wrong movie, but I should reverse this picture and send the phasers in the other direction. So I'm taking out your hat.
I happen to like this hat. This is a hat from a channel that I have a lot of respect for and I've worked with in the past.
I happen to like my phasers. They're set for kill. Anyway.
Yeah.
Back to the story.
Yeah, and Nerdlight, you brought up a good point. This does have a relatively simple superhero movie structure. It does have a couple of twists in there with, like what you said, with Furious leaving and then coming back.
Necessarily like I do think it's like definitely a throw off from superhero movies.
Yeah.
But like comedy structure, it's pretty simple.
Yeah.
Definitely a subverted superhero movie.
Yes. I think that's actually a pretty good descriptor for it, is a subverted superhero movie. Because, okay, let's compare this. Mira, did you see the first X-Men?
Yes, that was 2000.
Roughly, yeah. The one with Hugh Jackman, what's his face?
Patrick Stewart.
James Marsden, Patrick Stewart, Famke Janssen. Okay.
Yes.
If you compare Mystery Men with the first X-Men, and we'll just keep it to that, these do have a similar structure, but whereas X-Men, well, it is somewhat predictable in how the story goes, Mystery Men completely tosses that normal pattern or story or plot line and in a blender and hits frappe.
Oh, I'm sure. So it's that when you have that many comedians in one setting, you end up getting a situation where you have no idea what's going to happen next.
Oh yeah,
especially when you have the creative ones. I mean, just looking at like Janine Garofalo, she likes to keep it weird. Ben Stiller keeps it weird. Paul Rubens. You're looking at Pee Wee Herman.
Okay, my Pee Wee Herman sounds more like Beavis and Butthead, so I'm not even going to try.
That's perfectly fine.
Yes,
I can call it passable.
But yeah, and getting into the characters themselves, getting into the actors that play them. Janine Garofalo as the bowler. I got my powers from my father. Well, who was your father? Carmine, the bowler. I heard he died rather unsuspectedly. She's like, yeah. Supposedly he came home late one night, fell down an elevator shaft, and landed on some bullets. I suspect foul play. As do I.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's just like, yeah, that's not your normal introduction for a superhero. And she doesn't have any actual powers. Her bowling ball just happens to be hunted.
Yeah. And the thing is, but that is also classic Janine Garofalo.
Yes.
I know. And that's why it's brilliant.
Yeah, I think go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mir.
Later on, when did this movie come out? Let's see. Release date
99.
Yeah,
August 1999.
Yeah. So at the beginning of the summer, Janine Garofalo also had a brief part in Dogma.
Yes, I've got that movie.
Again, incredible sarcastic response. Although one on religion, and now this one involving like superheroes and involving like the sarcasm in the origin story. They're both on par with each other.
Yeah. Well, and Janine Garofalo has a string there of actually pretty decent movies. The Truth About Cats and Dogs, where she plays like a radio host that talks about, well, animals. And you've got Uma Thurman and somebody else in that movie. And I forget who the guy is, but that's not important right now. What's important is Janine Garofalo and the fact that she's awesome. And she has green hair in this movie. Well, part of her hair is green. Let's put it that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I mean, of course, like I say, yeah, William H. Macy. I shovel well. I shovel very well. Baby, you shovel better than any man I ever know, but that doesn't make you a superhero. You're a good. Again, I've seen this movie way too much. And again, I don't care.
Fine.
And you've got, okay, Mir, cover your ears because I'm going to say a name you don't like.
I don't really care.
You've got Ben Stiller as.
You said it.
Okay. Ben Stiller.
Who?
You've got Ben Stiller as Mr. Furious, a.k.a. Roy. Just Roy. Can you think of any, and I hope there's, if I offend anybody out there who knows somebody that they care about or love or whatever, can you think of any lamer name for a superhero than Roy? Holy crap. Mr. Furious. But I'm also known as Roy. And he tries to come up with a cool, funny, like really super cool secret identity name.
Dark.
Phoenix Dark. Phoenix Dark. and the girl's like, just be Roy. And for some reason that completely shatters all confidence in his abilities as a superhero. Which he's like, just be Roy. And you're wondering, because there was a scene just before that where Casanova's talking to Tony C, and says, I think we should take out some insurance. Wouldn't you agree? And maybe they got to the girlfriend because they did track down where she was at, and they're like, you are going to do what we tell you to do, or you are going to die. And maybe they were like, you are supposed to completely sap him of all confidence. I mean, it's possible. Maybe there is a deleted scene. I'll have to go back and check.
No, well, yeah, I see where you're coming from, but you know, later on,
yeah,
spoilers, Mur,
Yeah,
that you know, they have the girl, at the base, at Casanova's base.
And oh my gosh, okay. I know we're kind of bouncing around all over the place, but can we just talk about Casanova's mansion? I want that mansion. I want that mansion so bad I would almost commit a crime for it, but not really. That is one pimped out, cool as hell mansion. Dr. Doom's castle. Go ahead, Nerdlot.
I would have to get rid of the disco room because I'm not a fan of disco.
No, you keep the disco room. You keep the disco room, but you don't have disco music playing it. You just keep it as
okay, there you go. There you go.
Now, personally,
get some Pink Floyd playing with the disco lights. There you go.
Oh, hell yes.
Put some lasers in there.
Yeah.
Well, there's already lasers in there. There's a disco ball, there's lasers, there's a smoke machine. You got all of it. You don't need anything else.
Well, I put a little bit of haze in the bottom and put some black, some dry ice in there, make it a whole little hazy thing at the bottom, make it spooky and groovy and all that. Kind of nice.
Yeah.
There you go. Okay, you guys changed my mind. I'm keeping the disco room.
Well, you don't have to have the music and everything, but I am a child of the 70s, even though I was too young to remember any of it. So there is some disco music that I do like. And now here comes the torch and pitchforks. We must burn down the ambassador.
Burn her!
He likes disco music. We no longer can associate with him. Cancel the ambassador because he likes disco.
Already?
I'm sorry.
Disco music. There's some music that disco isn't bad. Just not the Kiss disco.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
Of course, it was because of a disco-themed movie that I was conceived. But I don't talk about that. Well, I have talked about that, but I don't talk about it often. Okay, short story. My biological mother, me and her and a friend of mine and everything, we were out to lunch one day and we were talking about favorite movies, and we came upon movies of the 70s. And we got to talk about disco movies like with John Travolta, and she revealed essentially that the night, the day I was conceived was the night that my biological parents went and saw Saturday Night Fever. So it was because of John Travolta and his tight pants I'm here. So thanks a lot, John Travolta.
In 1977.
Yes, I'm well aware of this, Mir. Thank you.
Me too.
And right now, everybody is in the chat is, I thought we were talking about Mystery Man. The ambassador's talking about how he was conceived. How does this have anything to do with the movie? You have to all share my pain and embarrassment because I found this out with one of my friends from church. Anyways,
I'm gonna destroy this right now, okay? Just remember, the beginning of Staying Alive says, well, you can tell by the way I use my walk, I'm a woman's man, no time to talk. I guess in your dad's case, mutiny, huh? It's a mutiny.
Yes, it is. But you know,
your dad made it come true. I'm going to hell.
I'm going to cast you into the ambassadorial dungeon.
The set phasers were fabulous, my friend. I mean, come on. Look, you got to give your father credit. I mean, without his actions thereof, you wouldn't be here now. We would not be having this conversation. And, you wouldn't have like an entire group of people sitting here looking at a living god look at some retard in a Star Trek starship.
I am not a living god. I'm just a guy called the ambassador.
When someone asks if you're a god, you say yes.
You say yes.
Oh, God. Okay, I'm done. I'm just going to shut up.
Stick a fork in mirror. He's done. He muted himself. Oh, my word. But yeah, and the whole 70s disco aesthetic in this movie, it works so well because in the 90s, we were looking back to the 70s and we're like,
yeah.
The 70s wasn't all bad. Yeah, there was a gas shortage and two of our presidents were idiots, but the 70s wasn't all bad. It had good music, so to speak. Well, you know what? No, I'm not going to.
No, it did.
It did. And I am glad, honestly, that they included disco music in this movie because some of this movie is so unconventional on so many levels that a superhero movie has the Bee Gees as part of the soundtrack.
Right.
A superhero movie has Smash Mouth as part of the soundtrack. A superhero movie has I'm trying to think who else was on the soundtrack for this movie. And I can't for the life of me remember except for those two. But still.
It had a lot of disco music.
Yeah. It kind of did. I mean, it wasn't just Bee Gees. It was a lot of big, no well-known bands from the 70s that they used in the soundtrack. And can you talk about any more unconventional mentor? The Sphinx, played by Wes Studi, who just a few years prior to this played Sagat in Street Fighter with Jean-Claude Van Damme and the late, great Raul Julia. There's another movie I need to review. Street Fighter.
Addams Family. Addams Family, Street Fighter. Anything with Raul Julius in it is amazing.
Yes. I think that's just a given.
Wes Studi was perfect for that role. I can't remember Street Fighter. I don't know if I've even actually seen that movie, but
you need to at least once. You need to at least once.
Is it based off the game?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very, very, very loosely, yes.
As in, they share the same name, but that's really about
right.
it.
And the same characters from the game, but that's about it. Well, okay. And here, Nerdlot, this might be a pull for you. It has Ming-Na Wen in it.
This is true.
Does that help you at all?
No. But anyway, what I was saying, Wes Studi,
as the Sphinx.
As the Sphinx, perfect. Because the roles that I remember him were always the wise, the Indian guy in Dancing with Wolves and Last of the Mohicans, I think.
Yeah.
Or am I thinking something else?
He was in the Green Mile.
Yeah, he was in Green Mile, wasn't he?
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, but the other thing, one of the other things about this movie that I always enjoyed, and we started to talk about this, but we kind of got off on topic. Looking at you,
don't know what you're talking about.
Just say I don't know what you're talking about, Willis.
Well,
say it.
Right.
Say it.
I love you.
You always have to make it weird. Stop making it weird.
It's why I'm here.
You're gonna give me.
I don't even have to try. It's weird.
You're gonna give me a freaking headache. Okay. As I was starting to say before, this guy over here. And again, Mayor, please do not take my ribbing as being serious. I'm goofing with you.
I got nothing, man. I'm just.
I don't want to get a DM later from you saying, Master, you were way too mean. You hurt my feelings. I'm never coming on your channel again. I'm kidding. Okay. All right. Back on topic. Mayor, I only tease those I love. Okay, not love. I only tease my friend. I only really tease my friends.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. For those who do not know, who are not in that, we have a little private chat in here. I basically just typed what he said verbatim and sent it to him. Just because I could.
Oh, good.
No, so you have to admit that, and now I know I have not exactly seen this movie, but I do remember like all the like previews that were coming up for this. And I remember seeing that these people just meshed very well together. You know, everyone had their own unique brand of humor to bring to the table, and that's kind of like what.
Yeah.
That's another one that kind of separated it.
Yeah.
I also remember this movie did not do very well domestically, if I remember correctly.
Unfortunately,
it flopped.
no. Yeah, unfortunately it did, which was kind of sad because it had a really cool premise, a comedic superhero movie. Unfortunately, I think one of the problems was we had gotten so many superhero movies prior to this, because if you think about it, we got the Blade movies, at least the first two were actually were very well received.
Yeah.
Let's see, what else came out around that time, superhero movie wise. You had the Batman movies, the Schumacher ones that had come out. Oh, Schumacher, you broke my heart, but then you lifted it up. Okay, I love Batman Forever. I detest Batman and Robin, as most people do.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
Which one's Batman and Robin? Which
The one
villains?
with Mr. Freeze. The one with Mr. Freeze.
Yeah, and Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not a.
And of
I
course,
guess that kind of proves it that I had to ask which one that was.
Yeah, because Batman Forever, I love that movie. I really do. I actually absolutely love that movie. But I think the problem was there have been so many superhero movies that come out the several years prior to Mystery Men. And I think, well, and they did this in August where they put like the movies they know are probably going to flop in that month because it's at the end of the summer. But I think, honestly, if they had really marketed this thing and said, hey, this is something unconventional, this is something different, go see it. And I bought, I was one of those people that went and I watched this and I laughed my head off. I walked out. I loved this movie. It was good. But unfortunately, not enough people went and saw it. But I think it's kind of gained a cult following in the last several years. Because
Definitely.
they did do a DVD release for it. I think they have, or I hope they do a Blu-ray transfer of this, or even a 4K. I would go buy this sucker in 4K and just pack with all sorts of goodies and everything. Do a retrospective, do some interviews with the actors and actresses. Get some of the cast members, get the director. I don't care. Just give me the sucker on 4K. I'll go buy it. I imagine there would be a lot of the people who would too. And I'll pop Robert Rose's comment up here. Come on. There's an episode of the Animated Justice League about superheroes doing product endorsements. That was the Flash doing commercials. Yeah, and he's referencing Captain Amazing, who comes in to save the day at the beginning of the movie, and he finds out that he lost his Pepsi endorsement, and we're wondering. The whole impetus for the conflict of this movie is because Captain Amazing. Think about it. The whole impetus, the whole Kickstarter for this movie is because Captain Amazing lost a Pepsi endorsement, so he gets one of the most brilliant and deadly villains out of the insane asylum that he can think of, because all the other good supervillains have been killed or are in prison without possibility of parole. And he's like, well, we get Casanova Frankenstein. Yeah, that's a brilliant idea. Let's get somebody that can outthink all of us. Because let's be candid. Jeffrey Rush is Casanova Frankenstein. His humor is very dark.
Yeah, well, for me, in my opinion, like it, his humor all comes from like his acting ability. Like he plays it so serious that, some of the things that he's doing is just comedic,
Yeah, it's almost like unintentionally funny, but at the same time,
when it's over the top,
Yeah, it's completely over the top. It's like an extreme exaggerated version of like Doctor Doom, where his greatest weapon is his mind. He's almost like a. And if y'all disagree with me on this, that's fine. Those in the chat, you fellas. He's almost like a human version of Darkseid, where he has everybody at his mercy. And it takes Roy, or Mr. Furious, actually genuinely getting mad enough to where he can kick the ever-loving piss out of Casanova and saving everybody's butt.
Mm-hmm.
That's almost what this movie that's what Casanova Frankenstein puts me in the mind of. And can you think of an even more ridiculous name for a super weapon? The Psycho Fraculator. He got fraculated.
No.
Oh, is there an okay Nerdlot? You can think of a more ridiculous one.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't think there is.
This-
The
Go
only
ahead.
thing that comes to mind is what you're going to be reviewing tomorrow, and that's not like necessarily like a ridiculous name, but lasers on sharks.
Just
Freaking
one-
laser beams.
I want freaking laser beams on freaking sharks. Is that too much to ask for? Yeah, Austin Powers. Yeah.
But that's just ridiculous in concept. The name, I don't know what you would call that, but yeah,
Laser-
it's just ridiculously silly, and it just fits though.
Yeah, for this type of movie, it does
Yeah.
fit because when Dr. Heller is describing what the machine actually does, you're like, yep, that works for this movie.
Yeah,
And we got to talk about the toggle scene. We have to talk, well, you and me, Nerdlot, we need to talk about the toggle scene.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Obviously, you haven't seen the freaking movie. You're going to make me burst a blood vessel or something.
how many times do we need to talk about it? Like 5 or 7, including the gratuitous toggle that you did
the
when you were
toggle.
mad.
That you might have asked for in a moment of non-clarity, whatever the bowler says.
Yeah.
That was just some great comedic timing with some great actors or some great comedic actors just doing what they do best. And here's the crazy thing.
Exactly.
William H. Macy did not start off as a comedic actor, but he kind of has has kind of slid into that category, and he does it well. And one of the reasons why he does it well is because his brand of humor is very dry. Kind of like with Jeffrey Rush. It's
more of that humor derived from his acting ability than anything else.
Yeah, exactly. And because when you think William H. Macy, you don't think a comedic actor per se. You think someone who has done Fargo and done a bunch of other not like super heavy roles, but more dramatic roles. And then he's like, I'm going to go play this guy called the Shoveler. The Shoveler. And you know the cool thing is they give each hero a satisfying story arc in this movie. Everybody kind of gets a conclusion. Roy or Mr. Fierce realizes he doesn't have within him to become super strong and super lethal when he gets super angry. Shoveler, he convinces his wife that he is a superhero. The Bowler gets revenge for the death of her father. Blue Raja, he plays his part as well. The Invisible Boy does turn invisible, although with some comedic side effects. Because unfortunately, when he turns invisible, he has the same problem that Sue Storm does. Sort of. Because her clothes do become invisible as well, so to speak. But he's slightly nude. Perhaps you should
2
put
hands.
some pants on. 2 hands. Perhaps if you want to, perhaps you should go put some pants on if you want to continue to fight crime today. And Janine Garofalo is the bowler who says it. The Spleen has his own story arc. He's recognized as a true blue hero. He does his thing. And can you talk about any more quirky and weird introduction for the Spleen? The music alone is just like so freaking unorthodox. And Paul Rubens kind of had a little bit of a resurgence in the 90s and early 2000s because he did this.
Buffy
then
the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, that's right.
I was trying to think of like when did he have his mishap, his problems?
Oh,
couldn't-
I think that was like
90.
late 80s I think it was late 80s, somewhere along there. Yeah.
Research.
Research. There you go.
I think it was the late 80s or anything when he kind of got caught doing the thing he shouldn't do. Let's just leave it at
Right.
that.
The thing we all should not do.
July 1991.
Okay, early
91.
90s. Okay, early 90s. Yeah,
That was close. But
and of
yeah,
course,
you're right though. This is like his resurgence
Mhm.
coming back.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he had here this one movie. He had was it Buffy the Vampire Slayer was around this time.
Mhm.
I
Well, but he also did he did the movie with that one with Johnny Depp and Penelope Cruz, Blow.
Yep.
I actually went and saw that. I saw that movie. It wasn't bad. Was not bad.
He was in Doctor Dolittle, the 1998 one.
I don't remember. Oh, that he was the one
Yeah.
with Eddie Murphy.
I think so. It was, yeah, he was the voice of the
I-
raccoon.
Oh,
Oh,
okay. Okay, because I don't remember actually seeing him, and I'm like, okay, where was he? Oh, he was Animal Voice. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think he did Blow in what 2001.
I think so. That sounds about right. Yeah. But I mean, this is kind of his like, hey, everybody, I'm still here. I can still do good work. I've learned my lesson. I won't do dumb things ever again. And then, unfortunately, I think he did just be a few years after Blow or something. He did something stupid again. Paul, keep Pee-wee or the spleen. Keep it in your pants, please. Yeah,
Yeah, he does really good.
Yeah,
The accent that he, the odd like braces lisp that he uses.
Yeah. Well, and I'll say this: the prosthetic makeup they had for the spleen was actually kind of interesting. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And here's the crazy thing: for a superhero movie, this movie doesn't have a lot of special effects except for like that practical model of Captain Amazing after he gets put through the psychofraculator, and then the actual effect of the psychofraculator starting to go through the city. But for the little bit that was in it, the special effects work was actually really good. I mean, granted, this was a late '90s movie, but it did a pretty good job, which I was impressed.
Kind of like when I was saying earlier that it really feels like a '90s movie. That's kind of a lot what I was kind of thinking of was like the effects and everything. A little bit of mixture of practical and some very low tier CGI.
Yeah. I mean, this isn't like Phantom Menace CGI because, Phantom Menace had just come out a few months prior to this. Well, it came out in May of '99.
Yeah.
So, but you could still see like some small little fingerprints of Phantom Menace in the effects, particularly for the model, the CG model or practical model. I almost get the feeling that was a practical model of Champion City. Okay, and one other thing something else I want to bring up: Casanova's Corvette limo.
Oh hell yeah!
Oh my gosh. I love that car. And then the heroes go and wreck it. Although that scene is funny as hell.
That scene's so funny because it's like they finally got their team together and they're gonna go do this, and then like all they do is just dent up the guy's car a little bit.
Yeah.
And then they run away and they're like, yes,
we're superheroes. We're actual superheroes. And okay, I'll say this much: the Spleen and the Boulder actually get a couple of really good hits in on Casanova and the guys.
Mhm.
Like, look, you see the expression on Casanova's face when Spleen is just letting it rip. Okay, all right, and the team up at the end with Spleen and Invisible Boy, and they're staying outside the base, Casanova's mansion, and the skunk shows up.
Ooh.
That shot with the moon and them two standing there and the skunks.
Like, and Invisible Boy's just like, just go with it.
Just go with it.
And they have that beautiful operatic aria playing. Okay. I know we're kind of bouncing around, but honestly, with a movie like this, you can bounce around. It's fine. I love when they are going to recruit Invisible Boy, and his father is sitting there in his room, in the living room, and Invisible Boy goes, "Hey, Dad, I'm going up to my bedroom. 3 strange men."
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
No
It's like his
reaction.
father does. Don't you even care? I mean, yeah, nothing happens to him, obviously, but if that was my son, I'd be like, what? Excuse me? You're doing what with 3 strange men? No, you're not. Get back down. Get back down here. I don't care if you can turn invisible. Get your butt down here and explain yourself. I mean,
It's one of those. Oh, okay, son. Have a good time. Love you. What? You know?
it would be like Peter Griffin or Homer Simpson. Like, oh, okay, what? No, you're not. Get your skinny butt down here. All right, who are you guys?
Mhm.
Mr. Furious, the Shoveler, and Blue Raja. And why are you dressed like somebody from India? Why are you dressed like a sewer worker? Why are you... Okay, I'm going to quote this line because I love this scene. Why are you dressed like a male prostitute? I love that scene when they're getting ready to go on the mission and Mr. Furious is still doubting himself. And they all start insulting him. And Bowler goes, "You're particularly not well liked." Oh, for crying sakes, I used to have this down perfectly. But then the Sphinx lands this absolutely, it's sick burn. "You dress in the manner of a male prostitute. Your penman is atrocious." And that was the Shoveler.
All right, yeah, I gotta watch it. I'll probably watch it tonight.
Dude, you need to watch this movie. You
it
needed it.
is.
Well, unfortunately, you're gonna have to do this all over again. Just like go now.
No, you start your own channel. You start your own channel. You do your own review of it, and you'll start your own journey as a YouTuber.
Yeah, probably, but yeah, not now. Although I did take the quarter off this year, or for the winter quarter.
Sorry.
Yeah,
go ahead, Mir.
I'm just saying I'll have a little bit of time this year. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
This time to go on streams, time to hang out, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, there was one other set that I loved more than Casanova's Mansion. Dr. Heller's Abandoned Carnival.
Mm-hmm.
And can you talk about a totally non-lethal but totally effective, a canned tornado? How does someone make this? A canned tornado. And then those guns, the flamethrower and the shrinker. You fire at that at the guy. His clothes will get so tight he can't even breathe. Or in the case of the farriers, well, I think Blue Raja said it perfectly. She's gone to Missy Petite. And Mr. Furious is like, I think even my pants are starting to shrink. And we're like, you're in the middle of a battle with a bunch of killers who want to, well, kill you. Can you get your mind out of your pants? But some of the most creative weapons designs I've ever seen in a movie. A flamethrower and it's based on simple clothes dry cleaning technology.
Right.
It comes with a wad cutter and a clamshell holster. And all his weapons have manuals. And because when they're looking at the weapons and Bowler goes, what does this one do? He's like, explains like, it's a flamethrower. How do you know that? And he's like, oh, a manual. Yeah, Bowler's that kind of geek, folks. Well, Nerdlot, let me ask you, because, well, of the three of us, you and me are the only ones who've seen this movie.
Yeah, rub it in.
You admitted it. You couldn't
lie to you.
Yes, I know, and I'm glad you did, Mir. I don't like liars. But anyway, Nerdlot, this movie. What were some of your favorite moments? Your favorite parts? Who was your favorite hero or villain? Stuff like that.
Oh, I would probably say, some of my favorite parts were the back and forth between the Bowler and Mr. Furious. Ben Stiller and Janine Garofalo have, they've worked together before. And actually, some of the research that I did is that Garofalo actually had to persuade Ben Stiller to take the role.
Really? Huh.
Yeah. Yep. So they're back and forth, like especially gosh, I'm terrible at quoting things. Where they're the tryouts.
Oh yeah.
And, where that back and forth. What do they say back and forth to each other?
Well, what about you? Well, what about you? Well, what about you?
Yeah,
well, what about you? Well, what about you? Yeah.
And then you call that back later on in the movie, doing that again. So that's probably my favorite part is their back and forth. Just because they just have a natural chemistry of having worked together before. But really, I just like the overall movie. Even though I compared it to, I love Dodgeball and old school. Those are some of my favorite movies. I love the story of the underdog. The people that get put aside. And looked over whenever they get to rise up and save the day. Those are some of my favorite movies.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that's a real big reason why I love this movie.
Yeah, and Nerdlot, you hit on something that I do honestly. I agree with you on that one, because we love the story of an underdog. We love the story of people who have the odds completely stacked against them. And that's honestly, oftentimes, the heroes, in normal superhero movies, they might face some adversity, but they somehow come out on top. In this case, the main superhero, he gets killed.
Yeah.
And it's up to the second tier heroes. It's up to the Suicide Squad, essentially, to go in and try and save the day and defeat the bad guy and stop stop the Destructo Ray from wiping out the city and killing everyone.
Yeah.
And this movie does that story in a fresh and interesting way that again, I'm going to use this phrase, and no, this is not meant as a dig. So, to all the people out there who might be thinking I'm taking a pot shot at RJ, I'm not taking a shot at RJ. This movie subverts expectations in a way that's entertaining, it's refreshing, and it's funny. And it's all done in the context of a superhero movie.
Yeah.
But-
so, just to bring up another interesting point here,
Yeah, go
is
ahead, Mayor.
look at how many times this has been emulated
Mm-hmm.
after this point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I would say the Avengers for one, Guardians of the Galaxy. You know, you have this group of people who don't really. Yes, they have powers, but they don't necessarily work. They don't necessarily work well together. But then they find a way to, you know, unite under an aggressive foe and get the power up and win the game.
Yeah.
You know, you've got
Yeah,
that.
I really like the Guardians of the Galaxy comparison there.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
I mean, that
totally.
one's, it's especially apparent there.
Yeah.
You know, where you have like you have 5 different people from 5 different.
Yeah, I mean, they meet in prison.
What a bunch
Yeah.
of a-holes, you know? You can kind of make that same comparison there as well. You know, it kind of cracks me up, actually.
Yeah, and even with like the concept of the Guardians of the Galaxy within the MCU,
Yeah.
you know, nobody knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were. You know, there was a handful of people that knew who the Guardians of the Galaxy were.
Unless you read a comic from, like, you know,
The
forgot even when
1970s or 80s.
yeah, that's exactly.
Yeah.
You would have no idea who these people are.
Exactly.
You know, and it also shows up under was it Deadpool 2? I think they almost ripped it directly from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, and you know that is the really interesting thing about this film. It kind of set the plate for movies that would come up later on, because Robert Rose, thank you. Yeah, Robert Rose actually brings up a really good point here. I'm going to try and Kick-Ass. All he had was a couple of sticks. Reference to Shoveler, Hit Girl, and her father were the only ones that had any real skills. You know what, Robert Rose? That's a really good take there. Good. That's a good. Yeah, because if you think about it, imagine this movie probably did inspire, even though it wasn't financially successful for the studio. But at the same time, it kind of put the idea out there that you could do a movie like this or have similar themes to it. And I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if somebody sent a message to James Gunn and said, hey, you're Guardians of the Galaxy. Were you inspired at all by the movie Mystery Men? And I would not be the least bit surprised if he said, yeah, maybe a little.
Yeah, I'm sure. Absolutely.
Because if you look at the tone of Mystery Men and you look at the tone of Guardians of the Galaxy, you can draw some parallels.
Absolutely.
Now, I don't know who did. I can't think of the name of the movie that Kick-Ass and Hit Girl and them appear in, but
It's Kick-Ass.
It's Kick-Ass.
Yeah. Oh, was it Kick-Ass? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I wouldn't be, and that's another one I've never seen. I've heard a lot of good things about. Maybe I'll need to put that on my list of movies to watch at some point.
Oh yeah, I have both of those on Blu-ray.
I've watched the first one. It's definitely pretty decent.
Was it? Okay, I'll definitely check. I'm definitely going to check it out. But if you think about it, Mystery Men was kind of the granddaddy of the comedic superhero movie. Again, superhero movies do have levity built into them, but they aren't completely comedic across the board. Mystery Men kind of broke convention or broke the mold with the superhero movie with what it did. And
yeah, because I would say that it's more of a comedy first, set in a superhero theme.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's comedy. It's with a superhero coat of paint on it, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, it works. On many levels, it works. And, well, I'll kind of draw a comparison here. There were a lot of movies in the 1980s that were extremely unconventional that weren't necessarily financially successful, but turned out to be cult classics.
Oh, absolutely.
I would put Mystery Men in that category as well, because it's not by any means conventional. It's, as I said before, unorthodox, but it set the stage and it sparked the imagination of other directors and other writers to go, there's something to this. But they had to wait for everybody else to catch up before they could do it. But you got Kick-Ass, you've got Deadpool, you've got both Deadpool movies, both Kick-Ass movies, and both Guardians movies have that unconventional feel to them. Yes, they are a superhero genre film or films, but they are heavily influenced by humor and comedy and good comedic writing. And that's the strength of this film. And what inspired others to go back and look and, this movie deserves some more love. Because honestly, I would say this is a movie that is severely underrated. Very, very underrated. So, Go ahead,
especially when you look at, because I did look at some of the scoring for it. IMDb has it at 6.1. The metric is at 6.5, and Rotten Tomato audience score is at 57. I thought those were some really low numbers for what I thought about this movie.
Yeah. So, and this is to everybody that's in the chat currently. If you've not seen this movie, go check it out. And to those of you who catch us on the replay, go check out this movie. If our conversation here tonight has sparked your interest, go check this out and then leave your comments. If you watch it, leave your comments, whether they are positive or negative, and in the comment section on this stream, because this is a movie that I wouldn't be sitting here with these guys talking about if I did not think it was worth your time. Because we need more unconventional movies like Mystery Men coming out, particularly now. Yes. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted to do a couple of live streams like this. Not just because I hadn't done just some pure review live streams in a while, which I haven't. And I've honestly missed just doing the pure review streams rather than just doing watch parties. I mean, don't get me wrong. I love doing watch parties. I love doing the live reactions. But I love talking about these older movies that a lot of people haven't seen, or maybe people have never seen, like Mir.
That's true.
and Jeffrey Turner. And to all of you that, like I said, that will catch this on the replay, go check out this movie. It is worth your time. If you want a good laugh, if you want some good, insightful humor, if you want some great comedic timing, if you want some unconventional superheroes. I mean, you've got one guy who uses a shovel in combat. You've got another guy who uses forks in combat. You've got a woman who has a haunted bowling ball as her main weapon,
and she talks to it. I forgot to bring that up. Like when she starts talking to it in the car, and they're all like, "What?"
So, am I to understand that you put your father's skull into a ball for bowling? No, guy at the pro shop did it.
Oh, and like Mir was saying earlier, that's just classic Janine Garofalo.
Yeah.
Yes. Deadpan, but it worked.
Yeah.
And you know what? I will say this. Hank Azaria in this movie, I think this is by far one of his best roles, aside from his run on The Simpsons. And this might be another movie I might do that. Yes, I know it's bad, but it does. It's so bad. It's one of those, I'm going to say it's so bad it's good. Godzilla. The one with Matthew Broderick.
I like that movie.
Did I get from you, Nerd a Lot?
Yeah, I've never been a Godzilla fan.
Oh, okay.
I like the old school value of like the old ones, and like the original King Kong, but like you bring it into new age with using new technology and stuff, it just doesn't have that same feeling. Do you know what I mean?
Yes, I do know exactly what you mean.
I do, and that movie in particular, I loved how it started, but then once it got, again, spoilers, I'm apologizing for, you should have seen a 20-year-old movie by now. Once they got to the point where Godzilla had laid the eggs, that felt a little bit too much like Jurassic Park to me.
Right.
Like, especially the second one.
Bit. Yeah, maybe a little bit.
It was good. But still, it just felt a little bit too much like that to me.
Yeah. And Robert Rose brings up an interesting point. And Robert, I'm going to do some digging, but I would not be the least bit surprised if something hasn't come out in the trades that Warner and DC might be doing a Lobo live action movie at some point. If
I
not,
thought I had heard something about.
Yeah, I thought I heard something about that as well.
Yeah, I think they are looking at doing a Lobo movie, and I'm just wondering, who do you get to play Lobo? Because there's one actor I can think of off the top of my head, but he's getting a little long on the tooth to do stuff like this. But at the same time, it could work, and that's Ron Perlman. Now, of course, if y'all can think of another actor who might be good in the role, I am all ears.
If I were to think about it, Jason Momoa would come to mind.
Yeah, but he's already doing Aquaman.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's out by default.
Unfortunately, yeah. Oh, I just thought of one. Josh Brolin.
Yeah, he would definitely work.
He could work because he's got a pretty good sense of humor. I mean, it's not like he's like a comedic actor per se, but he could potentially work. Maybe
he's somebody who can be funny while keeping a straight face.
Yeah.
And he has just the right amount of sarcasm to him where, I could see him definitely as Lobo.
Yeah, that could potentially work. Yeah.
Hey, his Thanos role is done, so hey, come on. Bring him over to DC, why not?
Unless they bring Thanos back, which it's Marvel.
I'm going to be honest with you, man. I think Marvel's pretty much done for right now.
Yeah, and you know what? I am going to eventually do a review of this. Me and Matt Ambassador, we have HBO Max, and we may still go see this in theaters, but I'm going to be doing a review of Wonder Woman 84. And I'm going to toss this out here just real quick, and y'all can agree or disagree with me if you've seen it or haven't seen it. I thoroughly enjoyed Wonder Woman. Do I recognize there are some plot holes? Yes, I do. But does that detract from my enjoyment of the movie? No.
Just a quick question. I remember reading somewhere that movie was going to be available in theaters and on HBO Max on certain devices.
So in the United States, it's available on HBO Max for 1 month.
So I
Yeah.
have HBO Max. Was looking
Mhm.
for it and I couldn't find it anywhere.
It should be straight up on the right when
Yeah.
you open it.
Yeah, it should be right there, dude. I know that they recently did a deal between Roku and HBO Max, so Roku now has HBO Max as part of their service.
Yes.
So that's a plus. That's a win right there.
So I will say
Yeah.
that I have seen it, Ambassador,
Mhm. Yeah.
and I agree with you 100%. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and quite honestly, I think a lot of the hate that it's getting is completely ridiculous.
It's overblown. It
It
really
is
is.
way overblown. Like my thing is like seriously, like we're sitting here watching a comic book movie, watching an Amazon use a lasso to
Right.
swing through the air on
Lightning.
Thunderbolt.
I love
And
that scene.
it is really good.
Well, and Nerdlot, you and me.
And
Go ahead.
yeah, I don't want to go into anything because I'm assuming Mir hasn't seen it. But you know, some of the plot holes that there, I mean, seriously, like, you know, and like some people are saying, like, you're asking me to suspend disbelief too much. Like, really? Are they though?
Well, okay. I'm gonna probably catch some flack for this. I don't care. We were asked to suspend disbelief for a couple of Star Wars movies.
3 to be exact.
Okay.
See, I'm the lone man out here on that.
Nerdlot, if you liked them, again.
Well, okay, so I enjoyed the first two. Right, you know, once you bring Palpatine back, then I'm out. But
you know,
and that's why. And you know, real quick, a plug for the Ambassador. I've finally gotten a chance to watch or listen to your fan fiction, and I finished part 4. I've listened to a little bit of part 6, but I was like, wait, I need to go back. I needed to go back and watch everything. So I started from the beginning. I had caught in little pieces of it. So I'm finally going through and listening to the whole thing. And it's really thoroughly I'm enjoying it a lot.
Well, thank you.
I applaud you on that.
Thank you.
And like, you know, one of the things that you said in it, you know, we're going way off topic here, but
that's okay.
One of the things that, you know, you said on it is, you know, instead of hating on it, you know, why not just go be creative and make like your own little canon for yourself, and you've done a really good job. I applaud it. I love the Force Unleashed call back or reference that you had in there.
That was fun.
One? Yeah.
The Force Unleashed callback. I don't even
where Anakin is talking about cloning Force sensitives.
Oh, that part. Okay.
Or somebody. No, I don't think it's Anakin, but somebody's talking about it, and like
you're thinking of part 5. That's where Luke's talking.
Oh, did I make it into part 5 then? Okay, I guess I'll
you're in
part 5.
In part 5. I'm currently writing part 6.
Okay, so maybe I am all caught up then.
Yeah. Part 1 I kind of split because it was so long. All the other parts are just one video and everything. Part 5 is the longest thus far. It's an hour and everything because for those of you that haven't caught my fan fiction, most of them so far have been like 20 or 30 minutes a pop. Part 5 is an hour long, and I'm doing something different as I'm doing the story. I know I haven't been doing them as live streams, but honestly, going in, recording my audio, and putting in the pictures and everything, I feel it gives a much more cohesive and tightly knit story rather than me switching back and forth between me on camera and then the images and me just reading. So if y'all were preferring the live streams, I can understand why. But for production value and bringing you better content. That's why I'm doing these next several chapters the way I'm doing them. It's not because I don't want to do a live stream. Maybe what I'll do in the future is, as I release parts 6 through 12, I'll do them as like a live premiere where I'll be in the chat. Y'all can talk back and forth with me as the story as each episode goes along. But the reason I'm doing the story this way is I want to create a better experience for you all. And I do want to let you all know, once this story is completely finished, all 12 parts are done, I am going to go back. I'm going to do some editing and some tweaking on the story. Nothing drastic, just some stuff that I'm doing. All good writers, as Madam Ambassador would say, go through and rewrite. They tweak their story. Yep. They streamline it. They take out dialogue they didn't like. They improve the dialogue that is in there. So,
well, I mean, I think that was some of the problems with the sequel trilogies, is that they weren't given enough time to rewrite.
Yes,
and
that right there has been my chief criticism. For those of you who love the sequels, you have my respect and you are a part of this fandom. I will never deny you your place in the Star Wars fandom. That would be disingenuous and would be rude of me to do so. But that being said,
sorry.
Go ahead. No,
sorry,
it's okay.
No, go. Okay. I'm kind of in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Like I enjoy the first two and parts of the last one, but I completely understand why, like, yourself and some other people do not like them. So, yeah.
Well, and I do want to touch on a couple more things with Mystery Man, and then we'll wrap up. But I do want to say this.
Yeah, I'm sorry, we got way
no, it's okay. It's fine. And I do want to address Robert Rose's comment, and then I'll make mine. Yeah, I think Clancy Brown would make a great Lobo, even if he just does the voice. Even if it's a CG character and they have him do the voice work. And Clancy Brown has had a really good career, even though you don't see him on screen as a voice actor, because he has done a lot of voice acting work.
Yes,
I mean, he did Savage Opress in Clone Wars. He did Mr. Free, a different version of Mr. Freeze, different from Michael and Sarah and everything in the Batman animated series from the 90s. There was one that they did in the early 2000s called just the Batman, and they had Clancy Brown do the voice. I actually brought that up in my Mr. Freeze video that I did a couple months ago. I'll tell you this much. If I ever had the opportunity to do an interview with Clancy Brown, I would love to talk to him. That's one actor I would absolutely positively love to have on the channel.
Absolutely, I really would. I love him. He's fantastic.
And I've gotten the impression from watching interviews that he has done, he's very approachable. He's not one of these, well, for those of you that follow Poindexter Lounge and everything, Enosh and everything recently did an interview. It's been like a couple weeks ago now. He did an interview with Ray Fisher from the Justice League, who plays Cyborg. And that was such a good stream. And Fisher came off as very personable, very down to earth, and nothing that you would expect for an actor from modern Hollywood. I mean, I know we kind of paint these actors and actresses as just like, in some instances, social activists or whatever. But at the end of the day, maybe
he has a track record of it. So,
but at the same time, he doesn't come off as elitist or overbearing about it. He doesn't ram it down people's throats, which I think is one of the reasons why he does have such respect and has garnered a following and everything in certain circles.
Mm-hmm.
But as I was saying, to kind of close up my my Star Wars thing, next month I'm going to be doing a couple of different streams. Let's put it that way, and we're going to roast MST3K style, The Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker. And
That's good. I'm there. I am there.
And I want to make one thing perfectly clear. After I do these roasts, I am putting these movies to rest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to discuss them any further. I'm going to keep working on my fan fiction, and I'm moving on with the media that's coming out from Lucasfilm and Disney in relation to Star Wars.
Yeah.
I will give everything a fair shake, but I'm going to wait till I can actually watch it. Because most of you know, when it comes to the content I do for my channel, I watch something first and then react to it. I'm not going to go off of rumors, and I'm not going to bring you all rumors. I'll bring you all facts. Because rumors get you nowhere.
That's really the mentality people need to have, because, I mean, the future is bright for Star Wars.
It is.
It's looking very, very bright.
It is. Okay. Just my personal opinion.
Mm-hmm.
If you like the old series, great. If you like the new series, great. I personally do not think the Disney series and the original are compatible with one another.
I would agree.
But, you know, like for me, these are some great Star Wars themed movies. They're not Star Wars because they didn't come from the person who invented it in the first place. But hey, you know what? If they wanted to do it, they're in their own right, they're good movies.
Yeah.
It's just when you put the lens of Star Wars in front of it, then you start seeing like, whoa, no. Like, make it stop.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, whenever I think about the Disney trilogy, I always think of Spaceballs and oh gosh, what's his name?
Mel Brooks.
The
Yogurt.
Yogurt. Yeah. You know, the search for more money.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
You know,
like,
and I get
there goes the planet.
Yeah. You know, so they had to make their $4.2 billion back.
Mm-hmm. And you know
which
what?
I get, you know, and you know, they had to prove to investors that they could make it back with, you know, using that franchise. But
yeah.
Man, if they just would have been patient and let Favreau, could you imagine a sequel trilogy that Favreau and Filoni collaborated on?
With Lucas?
Or no, just on their own.
Well, I mean, so when you have Filoni involved, you kind of secondhandly have Lucas involved.
Yeah,
exactly.
Because, you know, Lucas has straight up said, like, Filoni's like the son he never had. You know?
Heir.
I mean, again, because they respect what has come before.
Yeah.
With the sequel trilogy, you have the J.J. Abrams movies, which, I mean, I'll be honest, they're technology-wise, they're gorgeous.
Yes.
But they don't make much sense, and they don't really have any resolution.
Well, and
sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, it's fine.
No, that's just J.J. Abrams, in my opinion. I can't think of any. There's so many things of his that I like. You know, Lost. There's this show called Revolution with Billy Crudup. I think that was the guy that was starred in it. But two really, really great shows that.
But he doesn't do endings.
But both of the endings for those shows were absolutely horrible and just totally make you just.
Well,
a couple of times I've thought about rewatching Lost, and I'm like, no, because I'm going to have to watch the ending. So no.
yeah. Well, and and here's the thing: people might ask, "Well, Ambassador, why aren't you doing a roast of Force Awakens?" Because in Force Awakens, there were interesting ideas that could have essentially been followed up with, and I don't wholeheartedly dislike the movie.
I think it was a solid starting off point.
It was.
Yeah, my only complaint about The Force Awakens is that it'll, like, in a way, in my opinion, it kind of allowed Rian Johnson to do what he did with leaving so many, what JJ people call, his mystery boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my biggest complaints about The Force Awakens is that we do not have Luke Skywalker in it. And in my opinion, Luke Skywalker should have been brought in at least mid-movie.
Yeah, I agree with
Probably.
that.
Yeah. Well,
but then,
and just go ahead, man.
And also look at the sequel trilogy from start to finish. Look where it starts and look where it finishes. You have a girl who's living in a desert in some, broken down shack, and then you go to the end of the movie, you have a girl who's in a desert in a broken down shack, but this time she has a laser sword and a droid, and she's also committed identity fraud, and she's a squatter.
Yeah.
To get from point A and end up at that point B, was this movie worth 6 hours of your time?
Yeah, I mean, to me, kind of what I'm getting, kind of what from what you're saying is like literally the sequel trilogy moved nowhere.
Yeah, I mean, look at the original trilogy. You have Luke Skywalker starts out on a, on same said moisture farm in the desert, and look where he is at the end. He's gone. He's had fantastic adventures. He's a Jedi. He has beaten the Emperor. He's gotten the power up. He's won the game, and then he gets to see his father as he was, which is bullshit. And
remember, you've got the despecialized version. So
it's one of those small things. So there he is. That's cool. But at the same time, you see how far this kid has grown from this arrogant shithead to a Jedi with psychokinetic or telekinetic powers and a laser sword. He's on another planet. He's blown up the Death Star. All this other crap. And there's a huge payoff at that end.
Yeah. Well, and kind of to bounce back to the movie we were discussing, Mystery Men.
How about Mystery Men?
Right.
Yeah.
Good call, man.
Bowling ball. Yeah.
Think about it. You have this group of unconventional superheroes who are like the B or C listers in superhero comic lore, or whatever you want to call it. And somehow, through the power of teamwork and, well, as they say, not bickering, they destroy the super laser, they defeat the villain, and they save the city. And Mr. Furious gets the girl.
Yep.
He gets his biker chick because she's a biker chick. She just doesn't. Okay, I'm going to say this.
Queen. A hog queen.
Yeah, a hog queen. Now, here's the crazy thing. Do y'all ever get the impression that dress that she wears the last time at the end and everything was kind of the inspiration for the dress that Mary Jane wore in the first Spider-Man when they're at the World Culture Fair or whatever it is in the first Spider-Man movie with Tobey Maguire?
Oh, yeah. It's like dead up the same, isn't it?
Yeah, it kind of is. But you know what? She looked good in that dress.
Yeah.
Both actresses did. Yes, I'm happily married. I recognize that fact.
Taken, not blind, dude.
Yes. I can still say, Claire Filani, you look good in that dress. Man, could you make... Man, could you imagine Claire Forlani as Trinity in Matrix?
Could happen.
Yeah.
I think she
You know,
could.
that's another thing from the 90s that you don't get much anymore is because Claire definitely has kind of like not like a typical beauty to her, but she is still very gorgeous.
Yeah. Well, as the old saying goes, she's easy on the eyes.
Yeah.
And of course, some feminist somewhere is going, "How dare you objectify women?" Okay. She was a talented actress in this movie, regardless of her looks. It just happened so happened to be she looked good. So, anyway,
You know what? Your toxic masculinity is really getting to me over here.
you know what this is, Mir? Do you know what this is?
Friction?
It's the smallest violin in the world, and it's playing just for you.
I don't know. That's just, hey man, whatever does it for you.
Well, I know what does it. I know what does it for me.
Yeah, me too. I got one of those, not the exact one, but hey, you know, also.
Mir, I consider you a friend, but you're not my type. Sorry.
No. Sorry, baby. It's all good.
Okay, this is getting a little awkward. All right.
We took a long sidetrack there.
Yeah, but we still got back around to our movie. We got back around to Mystery Men.
That's right. At the end of the day, they got the power up and they won the game.
Yes. Well, they all got the power up because it wasn't just. Okay, if Mr. Furious tried to do this on his own, he would have failed. If Chevrolet had tried to do this on his own, he would have failed. If Bowler, if Blue Raja, if any one of the other heroes had tried to do this on their own, they would have failed, except for maybe the Sphinx.
It's just enough weird shit to make it work.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
Okay. I'm just going to say this. I don't think we gave Tom Waits enough love for his role as Dr. Ray Heller.
No, he so good.
He is so good. From the moment he's at the old folks' home at the beginning, and he's wailing, he's like, "What about that psychofricular thing? Did it actually work?" And you're thinking, "Did you want it to work?"
Yeah.
Are you serious? But Tom Waits in this movie, oh my goodness gracious, sir, you are a undervalued comedic treasure. You really, really are. So to Tom Waits and the cast and crew of Mystery Men, I give you my ambassadorial seal of approval. Or as I think another superhero would probably react this way. Let me pull this up here. I gotta pull it up.
I don't know, but to me, it looked like you're trying to punch the actor in the face. Uh-oh. Oh, yeah.
Or perhaps that same hero would say this.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I think honestly we've shown some proper love and appreciation for this movie for the two of us that have seen it. So, Mir,
I don't know. Look, I don't know about you guys, but I feel like I've watched it now that I've spoken to
Nope. You've actually got to watch it. You have actually got to go and watch it, Mir.
Yeah, it's actually available for free on BitChute, so I'm going to go hop over there and watch it tonight.
Okay. And then
congratulations to this movie for finally making me download for free the Peacock app. Because
that's right. It is on Peacock.
It is available on Peacock.
Wow, that's better quality.
have-
I'll check it out there.
I have
The
actually.
only,
I'm
only bad thing about Peacock is commercials, but
Yeah, but you know what? That's a small price to pay. You know what? One of these days, I really need to do like a stream or just a video talking about all the different streaming platforms, both free and paid out there that are like have got really good content on them. One, well, okay, you named one there a lot, and that was Peacock. Another one is Pluto TV.
Yeah.
That's
got that.
another really good. That's a really good free streaming app. Crackle, Tubi.
Mhm.
All free. I mean, great, yeah, you get commercials, but one of the things I love about Pluto TV, they have channels like dedicated to certain shows. They have a Star Trek channel, they have a Doctor Who channel,
Yep.
they have practically every single solitary James Bond minus the Daniel Craig ones. You can go watch anytime. They've got all the Star Trek movies you can go watch anytime. And I'm like, folks, if you've not heard of these streaming platforms,
which one was that? Was that Crackle?
Actually, that was Pluto TV. That was Pluto. Yeah,
And it's something like 200 or 300 channels.
yeah,
They have a lot of, and it's no, you don't even have to create an account to log in. It's just all free TV.
exactly.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah,
I'll have to check that out.
you should, or like you really, really should. So, but, Mayor Nerdlot, thank you a lot for being here tonight. This was
Look,
a lot
even
of
though I
fun.
didn't watch the movie, I'm glad to be here.
Well, hopefully, I know you can't be here, but I'm gonna start doing some more of these. Well, I'm gonna start calling retro reviews. And I think I'll try and just Mayor next time. Just tell me, Investor, I haven't seen this movie. I'll be like,
Look.
okay,
Okay.
here's your 2-hour warning. Go find the movie that I'm going to be reviewing and watch it. So you
I'm
get-
going to be honest. I thought this was a watch party, and I just showed I RSVP'd to the wrong
I
event.
told you it was a review. I said repeatedly in my channel update, review. If it is a review, I call it a review. If it's a watch party, I call it a watch party.
I understand, but I just wanted to see you get frustrated because you are so cute when you do that. Oh God. Oh God. See, I mean, look, everybody who's watching, look at that face. Look at that face.
Priceless.
Oh my God, that's so worth the price of admission. I might even tip.
I'm not monetized, and I don't take people's money. I don't criticize those who do. Well, so to speak.
Often.
But that's another topic for another time.
Yes.
Folks, thank to my two panelists. Thank you, guys. Thank you for being here tonight. To all of you that were in the chat, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the stream. And as always, hit that smash the ever-loving heck. Get furious. Bowl that like button and share the stream out with your friends. For those of you who catch the replay, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you enjoyed the discussion. I really have missed doing these type of streams for you all. And next year, well, tomorrow night we're going to be doing another one. And tomorrow night we're going to be doing another '90s comedy classic. We're going to be talking about Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery. Yeah, baby, yeah.
I still think the first one is just critically underrated.
Actually, the first one did really well. Otherwise, they wouldn't have done 2 sequels.
It did, but even then it was totally underrated.
See what you
Anyway,
did,
we'll
Mirror.
talk about that later.
Mirror, you ran their lot off.
Well, I made
dare
it
you.
weird. Sorry, man.
Well, anyway.
I mean, shit, he didn't even give you a goodbye kiss or anything.
Always have to make it weird.
Yep.
Stop it. Just stop it.
Never. Ever.
Anyways, folks, you all have a great night. Thank you all for tuning in. And to those of you that catch the replay, I hope you all enjoyed. And we'll see y'all tomorrow night. One other real quick update. We will be back on Friday afternoon with the Council of One's Babylon 5 review at 2:30 Central Time, where we'll be talking about the long Twilight struggle. So hope to see you all then. And then I don't know if I'm going to stream. I've got a potential invite for a Wonder Woman review on another stream, on another channel. So I'll keep you all updated on that one. I haven't decided if I'm going to do anything New Year's Eve yet. Might just play that one by ear. So, but again, y'all have a great night. Thank you for tuning in. And until next time. And
Peace
don't
out.
I'm going to mute you so that you can't say anything. Until next time, these are the ambassadors signing off.
I have always been